All right, guys. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Fantasy 420. Today we're going to be doing a 2019-2020 NFL Way Too Early Best Ball Draft. This is a sequel to my best ball practice and free agency discussion video I had a few days ago. I'll give a link in the channel at the end of the video. Hopefully you can check that out. But I'm here with my YouTube and Twitter friend, Ballhawk Fantasy Football on Discord, and he's going to help me with the draft. So introduce yourself real quick before we get started.
All right, what's up, guys? This is JP for Ballhawk Fantasy Football, and yeah, I'm looking forward to doing this draft. I really like these best ball drafts, and it looks like the timer's clicking down.
So we were just talking about the picks we liked, and you got a mid-first round pick at number 7. So what do you think?
I would have preferred like a top 4 pick so I could get one of those running backs, but I think I could still get an okay player at pick 7. So where are you picking?
I'm at 9. So
okay.
I'm not. I told you I don't like Connor and Tyreek, so I'm hoping that Le'Veon drops, but we'll see. Yeah,
that makes sense.
I also wanted to mention that you're kind of as Saquon goes first, you're on team Kamara first, and then I can't blame you. I'm not drafting Saquon first, so if you wanted to talk about that, then why would you? Is there a reason why you would have Kamara number 1?
Well, it's either Zeke or Kamara for me. Kamara because he gets less volume, but he's so efficient, so there's less chances of him getting hurt. And Sean Payton uses him so well that I think he can definitely put up numbers. And then Zeke because of the volume. But if I had one crack at it right now or one shot at it, I know I went Kamara in that draft we did the other day, but I'd probably take Zeke Elliott.
Okay, so you are on the clock.
Oh man,
Todd Gurley's there.
Yeah, not going Gurley.
Yeah, honestly,
I had to reload 10 seconds.
I can't blame you. I think this is about where I would start considering Gurley. I'm not sure if I would take him.
You said you would take Bell, and that made me kind of want Bell. Not to take someone who you wanted, but I agree with you. I think Bell could be a good player.
Oh, you have to pick your best player. So he made the decision easy for me. Gurley went right before me. With everything going on, Tyreek Hill, James Conner, I'm kind of iffy on with having a whole role to himself. He was injured at the end of last year. I'm going to take Hopkins. I just believe in him as... Him and Adams, in my opinion, are 1A, 1B. Whatever you want to say as your 1A and 1B, that's fine with me. But I would say DeAndre is probably done it for a little bit longer, so I would just take him. I don't know. But I love Adams this year, too.
He has a higher ceiling than Devontae Adams, so I'd agree with you there.
So I'm going to go ahead and take Mixon. He did really well for me in the fantasy playoffs. Bengals are going to rely on him. Pass receiver. I just love Mixon this year. I think he's a monster. So Odell went.
I can see that. Okay, I like this. I like getting Kelsey in the second round. I think he's definitely has the highest ceiling out of all the tight ends in the draft. And now that Hill might not be there, that might be an uptick for Kelsey in terms of targets. So yeah, I want Kelsey there.
I'm interested to see how far Tyreek Hill will drop. I think in the 3-man draft that we did with those super loaded teams, you could afford to drop him a little farther. In a league like this, you might see people like risking it a little bit more just because like he could win you your league, you know?
Yeah, for Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, so I'll be interested to see how far he drops. These guys are still like really big names, so I think I'd still take them over Tyreek. What? How do you think it would be an 8 game suspension? I'm guessing.
Broke up a little bit.
No. Do you think? Are you predicting like 8 games for him?
Yeah, I have no idea. To be honest, I haven't even looked too closely at the report, but there's definitely a chance that he gets 6 or 8 games, or maybe even more, depending on the details of what happened. But there's definitely a chance he's innocent. So
It gives us it's difficult to talk about from a fantasy standpoint because we don't excuse me, we just want justice to be served. So whatever happens, if he's innocent, he deserves to be innocent. If he's guilty, he
right.
deserves to be suspended. So if he's guilty, I would say 8 games is about where we're headed with these suspensions. So that's what I would
Yeah,
say.
we'll see. Because Zeke got 6, and then Hunt got 8. So it'll be interesting to see. But I'm definitely hoping he's innocent. So
I hate to put you on the spot, but if you were in a vacuum and you had to take one, something I'm having difficulty, do you take Antonio Brown or Juju?
I like Juju for that, just because I think Juju has some chemistry with Big Ben. Big Ben's always shown to be able to feed a receiver. At least I think so. Whereas Antonio Brown, he's going to a new team. You don't even know if there's a connection with him and Carr. We've seen what Antonio Brown was able to do on Pittsburgh, so he's definitely a great receiver. But I think Juju is a safer choice. And even though it's his best ball and you can have a boom bust type of player, I still like consistency. Well, like since you're spending such a high draft pick, I definitely want someone who can put up points. What about you?
I would definitely agree with the chemistry with Big Ben. The thing that worries me with Brown is he had 4 touchdowns over 40 yards, which is tied with Tyreek Hill, and which who just went. So third round,
Wow.
early third round. I think that's still too early. So with the names
Yeah.
that are being drafted and the risk involved, but I think a lot of that has to do with the chemistry he had with Big Ben and just leaking out behind defenses and Ben knowing where he was and the fact that he was feeding him the ball in those situations. Um, I still love Antonio Brown because I think his target share in that offense is going to be crazy. I do also like that they signed Tyrell to give him a little bit of protection with Jared
Say it
Cook.
again. What you like? We
They,
broke up again.
they signed Tyrell Williams, so a little bit of protection since they might lose Jared Cook. But yeah, I would take Juju. I think gun to my
Okay.
head, gun to my head. But it is a it is a tough decision, and he was picked
Mhm.
right before you. So here you go, man. You're on the
Yeah.
clock.
I'll probably go Ertz here. I really like Ertz. I think he's definitely in the top tier of tight ends. I think most people would agree with that. And he's in an offense that really relies on him. So yeah, I definitely went with Ertz there. That was a kind of an easy decision for me. Even though I could have got Mahomes, Kittle, there's still a lot of good players left. But I like Ertz there. And I see you're on the clock now.
I'm actually gonna take Adam Thielen.
Okay.
I like his talent. He was the wide receiver 1 for a very large stretch of last season last year. He did end the season a little bit, I wouldn't say down, but he didn't end it as well as he started. So I think people are sleeping on him a little bit. And then I'm actually going to go wide receiver heavy. I like Keenan Allen here. Kittle and Henry Fournette worry me a little bit more, and I'm not a huge fan of Mac. I think I'd just take Keenan Allen. Be happy that I have 3 possible wide receiver ones. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
definitely,
So
definitely wanted to talk about Damian Williams. He went obviously way back here, but he's somebody we've talked about a lot, and I think that's still way too early for him. I do like him, but where would you pick Damian Williams?
I think third or fourth round is where I would pick him. I have a lot of shares of Damian Williams already, so, and that's before the Carlos Hyde signing. But like we were talking about, like the Hyde signing doesn't worry me too much because they needed another running back anyway. I think they really only had two guys for the most part. So, and it's not like they paid Hyde a ton or anything. So, but yeah, on my last pick, I actually tried getting Marlon Mack, but I was a little late clicking the button. So, kind of a bummer there.
Well, I'm actually happy that you took Henry because I'm actually on the Derrick Henry train. So that means you have to answer, are you on the Derrick Henry train?
I am not really. I think, well, I just want to see him sustain the success that he was able to achieve at the end of last season. So, I'm just not sold on it. Why are you on the Derrick Henry train?
I just think that they've always wanted him to have the ball. They've always wanted him to become that player that everybody thought he was going to be. And I think what you saw last year was just sort of a level up. Just him finally, coming around to the NFL, whatever you want to call it, being confident, but being fed the rock consistently. But I'm just not a huge fan of Mariota. His ability to stay healthy on the field or his ability to be an elite quarterback in general. I think that their team is just going to be pound the rock to Derrick Henry and then hopefully use that to make the playoffs. So, I mean, it worked for them last year. So I think like the Bears, they have a formula and it's not going to change because why would you change it after it worked so well last year? So.
Yeah, those are definitely good points. I remember saying in a video you made a good point that Tennessee won the games where Derrick Henry was putting up numbers, or at least won most of them, I think. So, I mean, yeah, like you're saying, stick with the formula if it works. So, he's on my team now, so hopefully it works out.
The NFL,
and then, wait, what were we gonna say?
The NFL just changes so much from year to year, and coaches' jobs are so important that, yeah, like I said, it's basically like, okay, we did this and it works, so we're going to do that until it doesn't work, and then, we'll adjust our strategy. But, yeah, like coaches want to keep their job, so.
Yeah, definitely want to win. So it's coming down to my pick pretty soon. So we got Philip Lindsay, Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram, I think, is a pretty solid RB2 for season long on that Baltimore team as long as he gets the volume.
I do like Landry, Beckham opening up the slot. I'm more buying into Landry than Njoku. I've mentioned before I don't like Njoku, but I do like Landry there. I was hoping Geis would make it because I'm kind of short on the wide receivers. I mean, the running backs. So I like Robert Woods. I think that people are sleeping on him. He's like a top 12 wide receiver last year going in the 5th round.
The drafts, right now, 5th round. Yeah, and then last year he's going like 8th or 9th or real late. And he's consistent too, so he'll get you a floor. You don't need every receiver to go off to win these leagues every week. And then I picked Woods. I'm going to try and get Cooper Kupp too. So hopefully you don't.
I'm down on Cooper Kupp. So like that just means more for Woods.
Cooper Kupp, so
I'm down on Cooper Kupp, so that just means more for Woods. So I love Woods.
Okay, cool. So let's see who you pick here.
Dude, I'm actually just going crazy with the wide receivers.
Wow.
That guy picked James White. I was hoping if I missed out on Geis, I would be able to have James White, but uh, yeah, he's not there. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
dang,
Yeah. James White. Hmm.
he picked my dude OJ Howard. All my picks are being sniped. This is a good draft to watch if all of your picks are being sniped.
Yeah, that's always frustrating. And speaking of tight ends like OJ Howard, right after picking Ertz, I remembered that I picked Kelsey. Little lapse of judgment there, but I'm still actually okay with that. Taking a tight end, one of the top tight ends from everybody else, that's a competitive advantage. Not a big one because there's still 9 other teams, but there's still some strategy like that. But yeah, there's still a flex spot, so I could still get Ertz and Kelsey into my lineup. So I'm
So I
not too bummed about it.
so I did want to talk about my pick for a second. I think a lot of people are going to be like Aaron Rodgers, and you know what? To be honest, yeah, I like the wide receivers left on the board with Robinson and Godwin, but I just have so many right now that I can't take another wide receiver. Not a huge fan of Ebron right there. Um, so I just decided to take who I think is a great value in the sixth round, being Aaron Rodgers. He finally has a coach that he likes. He's going to be doing an aerial assault offense there in Green Bay. And I just I expect him to be happy, and assuming he's healthy going into the year, I think that with the Tyreek Hill news, I might have just gotten the quarterback one in the sixth round.
Yeah, that's a great point. Rodgers, he can definitely put up some numbers. We all know his capabilities. He might be the most talented quarterback we've seen in our lifetime, maybe even so, or my lifetime. So yeah, definitely can put up some numbers. So for best ball, that's a great pick, and for season long, that regular season long, that'd be a good pick too.
This is a guy who's being talked about as being taken in like the third round, the fourth round the past few years. And,
Hmm.
I got him in the sixth round. And like I said, I just think that his prospects going into this season are higher than, normal just because last year the McCarthy stuff was already there. Everybody was already like, he should be gone. He should be fired. Rodgers isn't happy. Like, that's not happening.
Yeah.
So what do you think about Evan Engram and Hunter Henry? Like both, I don't know about Hunter Henry, Evan Engram either, and yeah, Kareem Hunt in the sixth round. Those were like three crazy picks in my mind. Like I would not take any of those guys.
Yeah, to be honest, I've never been a fan of Hunter Henry in fantasy football. I don't really know why. Some people like him a lot, but just I don't even have a great explanation for it. As far as Evan Ingram, he can definitely put up some points. He was really good without Odell Beckham there. Now they did sign Golden Tate, but we don't know if Tate will even get successfully involved into the Giants' offense. He could not really get involved all that well in Philadelphia. So if there's a target share for someone,
Yeah,
Kareem Hunt. Yeah, what were you gonna say?
I think Henry coming off the injury is kind of sketchy. And then this is the sixth round. I mean, there's still some pretty good names out there. Mike Williams, Calvin Ridley, DJ Moore, and yeah, I don't know. Evan Ingram, I just think that the Odell protection leaving is going to hurt. And yeah, Kareem Hunt's missing 8 games.
Yeah, 8 games, and
And when he
I don't
comes
know.
comes
Hmm.
back, when he comes back, Chubb is still there, and he's still their number one. So I mean,
Yeah, I agree. I just can't see Kareem Hunt putting up all that many a lot of numbers. I thought a lot of his success was just being in the Kansas City offense. Now Kareem Hunt, he is really talented, and I think he has the best balance in the league. He's a great tackle breaker, and it's hard to bring him down. But I think if you put him in a worse offense, now it is the Browns who have a lot of hype around them, and they could be pretty good. But yeah, I would not go there. So it's my pick now. I need a quarterback. I'll just go Watson. I do like waiting on quarterbacks, but I saw I didn't have any quarterbacks yet. So, and Deshaun Watson, I have him ranked. Well, when I did my quarterback rankings, I had him as the third quarterback, and I still have him up there. I don't know which rank exactly right now, but I like Watson. He has that rushing floor. He can rush for touchdowns. He's a gunslinger too. He's a good combination of someone who can run but also throw, and he has arguably the best receiver in the league to throw to in DeAndre Hopkins.
I just took his backfield mate, Lamar Miller. I don't want to take McKinnon, just the injury, and they signed Tevin Coleman. I'm not a big fan, so. And I'm going to take my boy Baker, just because I want to. And Aaron Rodgers, I think with Aaron Rodgers and Baker Mayfield, I'll probably have the best quarterback combination in the league. So
yeah, maybe.
I probably won't be taking another quarterback, and I could just like spam those late run. Like I'll probably be taking like 6 or 7 running backs, just because my second running back at this point is Lamar Miller. So
yeah. Wait, so you were saying you're not a fan of Lamar Miller, or?
No, I took Lamar Miller.
Yeah, I see that. Were you saying you're not a fan? I think the volume stopped coming through for a second. Are you not a fan of Deshaun Watson?
McKinnon. I think a lot
of McKinnon.
I think a lot of people would say, "Oh, why didn't you take McKinnon?" And then I would say, "Well, they signed Tevin Coleman, so they're going to play him. He's coming off a season-long injury. There's also Breida there, so I mean, I'm not down."
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be either. There's too many running backs there, and or McKinnon. I just remembered he I think he's being shopped.
Okay, well,
yeah,
we'll see. I'm still not convinced. Who would you take between Lockett and Baldwin?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd say for best ball, I'd say Lockett. He had at one point in the season he was catching a lot of touchdowns last season, and he's a speedster, I think. And Baldwin, he'll be another year old. It's becoming, well, as far as I. So now receiver is a position where older people can find success, but yeah, I trust the younger guy there.
You did cut out a little bit in the middle, but I got your gist. So
okay, good.
I would.
There goes Jalen Samuels. My bad. What were you gonna say?
I would take Baldwin. I just
okay.
I trust him a little bit more. Hopefully, he enters this season healthy, and that should be a big boon to why his numbers look so bad from last year. He was rounding into form at the end of the year, so.
Yeah, he was getting better. He had that knee, like you alluded to, so yeah. And then with my most recent pick, I picked Robbie Anderson. I really like Robbie Anderson. I had him when I did my wide receiver rankings. I had him as the 20th receiver, but his ADP is not the 20th receiver, I don't think. Yeah, he's the number 1 receiver as far as we can tell in New York, and he started getting a pretty good chemistry with Sam Darnold going at the end of last season.
Another year for Darnold is huge, obviously.
Yeah, I agree.
They also signed Jamison Crowder, so his backup receiver is a little bit more reliable than Quincy Enunwa with his poor neck. So, It's not like, oh my God, the Jamison Crowder world-ending numbers. You know what I mean? It's not. Like, but that being said, it is a little bit more reliable than who they had. So, which isn't saying much.
Yeah. I'm going to reach a little bit and actually get Carlos Hyde. This is kind of because I already have a lot of shares of Damian Williams and Carlos Hyde. He could definitely be the goal line back for Kansas City. Kansas City might not have Tyreek Hill like we talked about, but I still think they'll be a good offense. So he can get some touchdowns.
Well, I did like Eckler that I mentioned before, and as is tradition, everybody's taking everyone I want.
Getting sniped today.
So I'm going to take Vance. I really like Vance. 200 targets or so lost in that Pittsburgh offense. He passes my eye test. No more Jerome James to worry about.
Jesse James.
Jesse James, there you go. Oh, man, so I'm thinking Jared Cook. If he goes to the Saints or the Patriots, man, the Saints is making my mouth water right now. Or I could take a 10th round Gronkowski. I'm going to take Jared Cook.
Okay.
If Jared Cook signs with the Saints, that would be huge. And I think if Gronkowski retires, he might go there. So why not?
Yeah, and that's part of the game of best of these early drafts. Trying to figure out who will be on a good team because so much more is going to happen before the season.
Exactly.
So I am going to reach here again for another running back. Or actually, I was going to go C.J. Anderson, but I'm going to go Latavius Murray. He's on the Saints. Really good offense. They lost Mark Ingram, replaced him with Latavius Murray. Now they do have Kamara, but the Saints running back is such a valuable position that even though he won't be the main running back, I think he'll still get volume or some volume because they'll try and keep Kamara fresh.
I remember when the offseason started, Latavius said he wanted a starter's role. So I think you're right. I think they offered him something similar in saying you'll get a lot of volume to keep Alvin Kamara healthy, especially for the playoffs. So I agree. I think that he'll get a good amount of touches per game in that offense. So
yeah. And it's that, like I said, it's like that Saints offense, like you said. So that's something you want on your team.
He's the kind of player who wears on a defense, and as the game goes on, his carries become more valuable. So he might even see some late game like runs. Also, obviously, he might see some red zone carries. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I see CJ is still there, so I definitely want either a running back or receiver with my next pick.
As somebody who wants running backs, you definitely don't want CJ, dude. Do not.
Wait, you're saying don't get CJ Anderson?
No, I'm trying to Jedi mind trick you into
not
taking him.
Yeah, CJ, we were talking about just before. Yeah, we both agree. I think that CJ can be a game changer. So, yeah.
If I'm taking Gurley, then I have to reach for CJ Anderson.
I agree.
Multiple rounds. If this guy who has Gurley hasn't taken him, he's gone, and he's really screwed if anything happens to Gurley.
Yeah. I totally agree with that.
Even if Gurley plays, it might be like a two-man game. Like, when they're ahead or behind, they'll obviously rest Gurley and CJ will play. It'll obviously be like if Gurley's knee isn't feeling well at any point, they'll put him in the game, CJ. So we'll see. I think CJ is worth it. So.
Yeah, totally agreed there. And like you were talking about, I think it could be a good two-man show between the two of them. So like we saw in the playoffs too. Like they're in that Dallas game. I think they both had good games. At least I know Gurley didn't have a great playoffs, but he did have at least one good game, or he had one good game in the playoffs.
My boy Gronk went. I probably would have taken a risk on Gronk if he would have came back.
Wow. Yeah, there's definitely like big upside. He had a pretty good Super Bowl, and I mean, maybe he's definitely fell off a little bit in terms of statistics, but he's apparently still a good blocker. Um,
A lot of people are buying into Jameis Winston. I definitely like the Bucks with Bruce Arians coming into town. So these quarterbacks are interesting. Like I would take Goff. I mean, I would take Wentz and Winston over Goff. So I agree with those picks at least.
okay, yeah. Goff, he definitely has some down games, and part of that was because Gurley was getting all the touchdowns, but I mean CJ could definitely get those touchdowns too, or Gurley could still get them. So, yep. I want a receiver. I said running back or receiver, but I want a receiver. I don't really like any of these receivers though. But man, oh
Yeah, I think Tyrell is decent value here. Um,
yeah, I just quickly switched back to running back because I didn't like the receivers, and I thought CJ was gone. I just thought I just didn't see him. But then as soon as I pressed Gus Edwards, CJ got drafted. I drafted Edwards just because if Ingram were to go down, I hope he doesn't, but it just wasn't a great pick. But the only running back I like right now in that range is CJ, and he just went. So poor picking.
I went to yeah, I got Ito. I sort of mentioned previously before the draft we were in a call, and I mentioned I do like running backs like Ito Smith in this range, just somebody who, with Devonta Freeman being so injury prone, if something were to happen to him, then Ito would just be their number one with a bullet, and he would probably be like an RB2 in fantasy football, maybe like a back end RB1 depending on who they're playing. But he's a runner, and he would just, if he was their starter, he would get pounded the rock. So
Yeah, and Atlanta running back is a pretty good spot to be in.
and then did you want to talk about John Brown?
Yeah, definitely. I liked what Buffalo was doing in terms of the passing game at the end of last season. They had that down game against New England at the end, but Robert Foster seemed like almost every week he was turning in a long touchdown, and we saw what John Brown could do with Joe Flacco. So he gets a strong arm quarterback in Josh Allen, and I'm planning on getting Robert Foster as well to get the Bills' deep threats, stacking that.
So do you like Big Ben? Are you taking Big Ben? I'm not even probably taking Big Ben this year, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I really like him as a real life quarterback.
Oh no, I lost you again.
Oh, I was just saying I like Big Ben in terms of real life, but I think he can get it done in the tough moments. But I just don't know about his fantasy production. He's up and down if you look at it historically. It's hard to guess which year he'll be good.
Yeah, AB and LB leaving obviously hurts him
Yep.
a ton.
Yep.
I think Road Ben might rear its ugly head more than it did last year. Admittedly, it didn't, but I think with all those weapons being gone, it might. So,
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. We'll see what Juju can do, but I mean, AB was so good. He was so good there.
shout
So
out
losing that.
Shout out to our buddy Gridiron Guru on YouTube and Twitter with Chris Herndon being picked.
Definitely. I like that pick, like Gridiron Guru was talking about. So
Tom Brady in the 13th round. That's never a bad thing.
yeah,
Guy you've sort of mentioned, going right after him, Dallas Goedert. I actually really like Marquise Goodwin.
which is weird, but
Yeah, I actually like Marquise Goodwin. I think if you could get a wide receiver one on a team in the 13th round who's fast, that's pretty good.
yeah, totally agree there. So it's coming down to my pick. So I gotta figure out who I want here. I still need another quarterback, and quarterbacks are about to drop off a little bit. So it's between Rivers and Sam Darnold for me. And I said Chargers might have kind of a down year. At least I said that before we started when we were talking. I will go Sam Darnold. I have Robbie Anderson, so I'll match him with Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold, he was looking good at the end of last year, so yeah.
Guess I'm gonna reach a little bit for Deontay Foreman, just because I'm not a huge fan of that because of the injury. I think they'll probably pick somebody in the draft, but I have Lamar Miller, so I think it's worth it to pick him.
Yeah, that makes sense. Right now, especially that they don't really have anyone. Like you said, they might get someone else, but you have Lamar Miller, so might as well be safe and get Deontay Foreman with that.
So I am going to go ahead and take Ronald Jones, somebody I really like. I obviously mentioned I like Tampa Bay's Arians pickup. He was a high draft pick for them. It's a new regime, so they're not tied down to Peyton Barber in any way. I think Jones will get the first crack at that team, assuming they don't like pick somebody really high. I think he'll get the first crack at the starting job, and he can receive the ball a little bit. So
Yeah,
I have 6 running backs now, so I feel like I've between Ito Smith, C.J. Anderson, Deontay Foreman, and Lamar Miller and Ronald Jones. Hopefully, I've sort of made up that deficit I had. So we'll see.
right.
I'm using the tool to click around on the other teams. You can kind of see what you can do on the tool here for draft. I've been having a lot of fun. I did want to mention that Ballhawk that's why I really love this fantasy community. Hopefully everybody reaches out, and then you can join us in some drafts and some Discord calls and some YouTube videos. It'd be really fun. Ballhawk was the guy who I wanted to do best ball for a long time, and then I found a friend, somebody who put me over the edge, and I've been having a lot of fun with the app. So I definitely recommend if anybody watches this video to download the app and have some fun.
Yeah, definitely. These best ball drafts are a lot of fun, and I'm happy that you're doing them. So, and yeah, like Fantasy 420 was saying, we could get in a draft together, and it's always fun when more people are involved.
This is also my first year doing it, so I'm gonna be very interested to see which teams win at the end of the year, which strategies were really good. This is gonna be a learning year for me, so it's gonna be really fun.
Yeah, yep. This is my second year doing these best ball drafts, so I have some experience, but they're definitely challenging. But they give you.
I definitely like the no waivers, no trade. It's definitely a unique aspect and something that I'm looking forward to. Just because with the season longs, you have your season longs, but then you'll look back and be like, oh, I have these best ball teams.
Exactly. Yeah, and I like the no waivers too. It's just drafting, so it's a great way to get a feel for who's going where, things like that.
I always like to mention with drafting, it's important to, mock periodically so you can tell where people are falling, where people are rising.
Hmm.
Um, and this is kind of a good example of that. They're only $1. They go up to 50, but you could do a quick draft for only $1, and then you can kind of get a feel for the moment whenever you want to. So
Yeah, yeah, great way to get a feel for who's going where. So I'm gonna go Geronimo Allison. He was pretty good at the beginning of last year before getting hurt. He's in that Packers offense, so we all know about that. And there's for the 15th round. It's not the worst pick in the world, and I need the more receivers. So, and I
yeah,
I remember in the watching your most recent best ball draft you did and put it on YouTube. I think you got uh, Geronimo Allison in like the 17th round or something like that.
yeah, I think that him, Scantling, all those names definitely worth a late round pick in a best ball draft. I mean, we're getting to the names where subjective opinion matters more and more. And yeah, I think if you're a wide receiver 2 or 3 in that offense, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Gallup, who I'm surprised has fallen this far, but I think he's their number 2 in Dallas. Came on at the end of last year, so
Yeah, I think that's a good pick, and there were a ton of passes. Gallup, Dak Prescott threw it just out of the reach of Gallup. That could have been big plays.
mm,
Noticeable how how many times that happened, but yeah, I like that pick at this late of the in this late part of the draft.
and then I'll take Traquan, just fast guy. So Saints offense. Hopefully, um, this offseason slash preseason, excuse me, gave him more chemistry with Drew Brees. He should enter. Hopefully, he enters this season as that number 2 with the Saints, and if he does, that's a pretty valuable role. So
Hmm.
hopefully, we'll get like first half Saints passing offense.
Yeah, the Saints they're real good. You mean like the first half of the season of this past year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will admit, the second half of the season, Drew Brees did scare me, but they're still the Saints. I still predict them to win that division. So
Hmm. Now, right there, I tried getting that was just bad picking on my part again. I wanted to get Elijah McGuire because I have Le'Veon Bell, so he could be kind of a handcuff for Bell, but I didn't get there in time. It gave me Callaway, but Callaway he could have a blow up game. So
so I actually like that pick inadvertently. Callaway in a best ball draft, I would think like obviously in a season long, I would probably never feel confident starting Callaway even as
yeah,
like
agreed.
a second flex, but in a best ball league, he might get those. He'll get those touchdowns where he, excuse me, he breaks away from the coverage because he's probably gonna be seeing the team's like third best cornerback, obviously, uh, slot cornerback every single time. So, I mean, if he gets that breakaway play, or if he has that good game where they're just taking away Odell, or they're
Mm,
take or and Landry and Hunt, there's so many mouths to feed in Cleveland. You don't know who's gonna go off. But if you could get a piece of that pie in the 16th round, like that's pretty good.
yep. Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. And it's best ball, so when he doesn't when his scores are bad, they won't get counted.
Exactly. I don't. There's. I like to say that fantasy football is all about what universe you want to build because every universe is possible. Like, it's possible that Antonio Callaway finishes this year as the number one wide receiver in fantasy football. Is that going to happen? Probably, definitely not.
But, Probably, definitely.
But in the
I mean, there's still a chance.
But in the 16th round of a best ball league, yes, that's very good value in my opinion. And I think that there's a chance you'll get Elijah McGuire right back. So
true, but let's see. Yeah, and I already have 7 receivers, so
these are our last 2 picks. I did want to mention really quick. So I think this is a good time to look at your roster and be like, okay, do I need it? I have Baker and Rodgers. Do I need another quarterback? I have Vance McDonald and Jared Cook. So I definitely think I need another tight end. So I think these are the times where you need to like think about your roster composition, and these last 2 rounds fill out that last spot.
Yeah. So for me, I have arguably the 2 best tight ends, Ertz and Travis Kelce. So I'm probably not going to get another tight end. And then I have Deshaun Watson at quarterback and Sam Darnold. So I maybe should get a 3rd quarterback. But I'll either be going quarterback or running back because I'm a little low on running backs right now.
Yeah, I have 6. So I think that's probably a little higher on the recommended number. But obviously with my running back situation, I think I needed to take... I might even take a 7th, but I think I'm going to do 3. I think I need another quarterback and another tight end. So I think I'll just play it safe, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Actually, Peyton Barber's still there. So I think I might... Man, Chris Thompson is still there too. Chris Thompson in the 18th round, like a pass-catching role on a team. Like, that's a name that I like.
Yeah, Chris Thompson, he's kind of dependent on the offense being okay. When he had his good season, it was because I think that was when Kirk Cousins was there, and he was able to move that offense an okay amount. But then last season, it just wasn't really moving that much, and didn't see much of the ball, and then got hurt. So, but he can still be good.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and take somebody I'm going to feature a little more in the offseason, and that is Mike Gesicki. I think that with how little they have going on in Miami, they spent a 2nd-round pick on him last year. I need another tight end, so he's a name that I like. I'm going to be doing team previews later, so he's a name that I like. Hayden Hurst. There's a lot of these late round tight ends that I like, so we'll see.
Okay, nice. Yeah, the volume didn't come through for a second, or the sound didn't come through for a second. You said you're going to do something about tight ends?
I'm going to be doing team preview videos, so when I talk about Miami, that name Gesicki is going to come up just because they don't have really anyone. So.
Okay.
And I think I'll end with Peyton Barber just because I drafted Ronald Jones. So I'll just I'll hope that I have the Tampa Bay situation locked up. I might not, with what they do in the draft and the end of free agency. But I think the one thing that I'm a little iffy on is Aaron Rodgers and Baker Mayfield. Hopefully they can both stay healthy, but 2 quarterbacks is a little sketchy, but who knows, I guess.
Yeah, 2 quarterbacks isn't the worst. It's definitely better than 1 or 2 that have the same bye week. That's one thing you want to check is the bye weeks if you're doing these best ball drafts. I know on the phone app you can check a little easier when a player's bye week is. It says under the name if you click on the name in your roster. But yeah, having a 3rd quarterback is kind of a nice luxury.
I actually had no idea the bye weeks until you just mentioned that on the desktop. Yeah, it's like a little grayed out piece of crap right there. So, I actually don't know if Aaron Rodgers and Baker Mayfield. I've just been drafting BPA so far. So, um,
Right.
I
Because
that
mhm.
go ahead.
Okay, well, when I was doing these best ball drafts last year, I think it actually said you could easily tell when certain players had certain bye weeks. It just had it listed kind of near the ADP, I think. But this year, at least right now, they don't have that listed, so it kind of can bite you. So
Well, that's obviously the end of our draft, guys. I'm not going to stick around and wait for these guys to be picked, but I definitely would like to thank my friend Ballhawk Fantasy Football for coming on and doing this best ball draft with me. It was really fun. We'll probably have to do a couple more before the season starts, especially when it gets closer. But yeah, man, I look forward to doing any more with you. Do you have anything to say before we sign off?
I just want to say it was a really good time, and I definitely appreciate you having me come onto your channel. Like I said, really good time, and yeah, I'm just thankful for that.
Make sure you give Ballhawk a sub. I'll link him in my end of the video. I'll link both of our Twitters. And yeah, guys, I really appreciate you listening to us and hope you all have a great afternoon. Take it easy.
All right.